So how would you pay for the crisis in the NHS with the backlog and social care if you don't advocate a tax rise?
Well, look, I mean, being in government is about choices. In the last budget, Rishi Sunak took £5 billion off pensioners, a huge cut to the value of the state pension, and then gave away billions in a bank levy cut, alcohol duty cuts. We've had billions given away in the way in which the big internet corporations like Amazon have been taxed. So you can find the money if you want to make different choices. The reason they're not giving the pensioners what they should be getting in the state pension, the reason they're not giving the NHS is what it's need, is because of the choices they have made. So you make different decisions on tax.
What different decision would you make? Simple question.
Well,
sorry, I know it's very noisy there, but I'm just asking, how would you pay for it? Because there's a huge problem when you talk about them breaking a manifesto pledge. In all fairness, they have had a pandemic to deal with, and it's not just the UK government. Governments right around the world are having to deal with this problem.
Yeah. Well, sure, there has been a pandemic, but they've actually got a boon because of the energy companies are making so much. So they've got VAT receipts higher than they were anticipating. So they do have some funds to make these decisions in this budget. But also, I come back to this simple point: why have they cut tax on the bankers? They didn't need to do that. You could also make different tax decisions on those who make their money on portfolios of stocks and shares and properties. They're not paying a penny extra in tax, but it's working people who are being clobbered by Rishi Sunak. It's the pensioners who are being clobbered by Rishi Sunak. I don't think that's fair.
What surprises me, Jonathan, is that the people you're describing being clobbered are the people that won Boris Johnson the election last time around, and he messes with them at his peril, I would have thought.
Well, look, I mean, it's such an interesting point, because I go around the country and I'm talking to retirees and pensioners all the time. I was in Swindon, I was in Derby in recent weeks, and there is a bewilderment amongst many of these retirees, because you're right, they voted for Boris Johnson in Swindon, and they're absolutely bewildered that he's broke their promise to them. He said, we'll protect you with the cost of living, we'll maintain what's called the triple lock on the pension. He's broken that promise. One woman in Swindon said to me, I cannot put the oven on anymore. I'm eating sandwiches because I simply cannot afford the gas bills to heat the oven. And these are people who put their trust in Boris Johnson, sometimes for the first time ever, by the way. Sometimes they'd voted Labour all their lives and they switched to Boris Johnson in that election. They put their trust in him, and he's letting them down.